have anything witty to say to start this other than I'm just really, really happy with this pair's Olympic program, event, podium, everything. I'm just so happy. I'm just really, really happy.
That's a good way to start.
Yeah. This is our 2026 Olympic pairs recap.
You're too giddy to actually have appropriate words, aren't you?
We're also recording this at like 11:30 at night.
Yes.
It's very late. And
Are you exhausted? We're exhausted.
Yeah, and we still have the women yet to go. But
I can't think about that yet.
Yeah. But I am thrilled about this pairs event overall.
It was glorious.
Yeah, there's a lot about this that I really, really enjoyed. So why don't we just dive right into it?
Absolutely. Welcome to Choreography, a podcast about the greatest sport on ice, figure skating. I'm Wendy Buskey.
And I'm Adrian Buskey. And we did forget one thing in the last episode, which was that we did not mention that it was our 100th episode.
Oh my gosh. I forgot again.
Didn't even notice it until afterwards because we always have the files notes numbered for it, but we weren't doing it ahead of time. And I was like getting ready to edit and I was like, oh, this was our 100th episode. Woo! So I just had to sneak it in as like a little bit of text on the screen.
Well, happy 101st episode.
101st. Yeah. So we've been at this for a little while now, but yeah, 101 episodes. So those of you who have been with us for a long time, thanks for sticking with us. And those of you who have just joined us very recently, thanks for joining us.
Yes.
But yeah, the Olympic pairs event, awesome.
It absolutely gave us back the heart that we needed.
Yeah.
It was so good. Everybody skated. Well, I mean, not everyone skated super duper well, but I don't feel like there was any, oh no. Like if even when there was really bad moments in the short, those people had the redemption skate in the free. If they didn't have the best free, they had a wonderful short. Like it felt very balanced. I think we'll get there. There's one big bummer that I had, but that I'll save that towards the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Because I'm too happy to go there yet.
Yeah. I mean, I think the obvious biggest story is the come from behind victory of the Japanese team, Riku Miura and Ryuichi Kihara.
Oh my gosh.
With maybe the best pairs free skate ever.
At least the biggest score ever,
Sure.
because they broke the world record with that free skate. And it was flawless.
Exceptional.
So good. And I say flawless knowing I don't think they got level 4 on their twist. So they actually could have gotten like a tiny bit more.
Their ceiling was a little bit higher than
That's
even
crazy.
what they scored. Yeah. Because, they definitely in real time got a 3 on the twist and they got a 3 on something else. I forget. Like there was another element that got a level 3 on, but it was under review. So I don't know what that was after review. But one way or another, that ceiling could have been slightly higher.
Well, and also think about the fact that, like, yes, they got that in the free skate, but they were 5th after the short program after they had a fluke issue on their lift.
Yeah, it was their lift. Their lift came down in the short program,
which is so out of character because their lifts are always so spectacular. It was just a bad moment, and thankfully it did not cost them that much.
Yeah, I mean, they were still, like you said, they were 5th. They were back in the pack, but this is pairs, so things can swing wildly. It's a lot like the men's event that a lot can change and often does. But you have a moment like that in the short and you have that sense of, oh no, the podium's gone, you know? And I think the chance of them getting back on the podium was always really high, particularly when you looked at the top 3 and how it included a team that you would have never expected to be in the top 3 at
who
the
absolutely
Olympics.
Deserved to be in that top 3,
did,
though.
Yeah, and we'll get to them for sure. But I think that Riku and Ryu were the odds-on favorites going in here. They were definitely our podium pick for this. We love all these teams, but they're our favorites. I mean,
and I mean, they had the highest scoring potential.
Yes.
Like, I think that also is worth noting that, like, if they did their best, they were going to be able to score higher than everybody else. Yeah. And that certainly makes a huge difference.
I think what's kind of fascinating about how this worked out is that through this whole season, the short program has been what's anchored their success.
Yes.
Because the Paint It Black short program is so strong. It's so musically well set up for them. You know,
it's
they just
choreographed perfectly.
Yeah. It has these great beat. When the beat drops and they go into the death spiral, it's just such a great moment, right? The death spiral is often one of the more kind of meh elements in the pairs division.
Yeah.
And in that short program, it hits because of the way it connects with the music. But that lift really took some air out of it, and it was really rough to watch that. And usually because they're so good in the short, it gives them that extra little bit of leeway.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder if it almost worked out in their favor, that they knew going into this free that if they wanted to be on that podium and if they wanted that gold, they had to be flawless.
Yeah.
And they just delivered one of the most exciting, like you said, near flawless in the sense that, some levels could have come up, but everything was executed so well. Riku, who often is not as great in the singles elements, hit every jump. Like everything was just so strong.
And I haven't gone back to the protocols. Their levels might have all come back up. So I'm saying that without having checked every single number.
Yeah, again, this was the real time. Yeah,
yes.
What we were seeing on the screen. Yeah.
But regardless, I mean, I'm sure that there are probably a few people out there who felt like they might have been a little generously scored in the short program. But even so, they won by 10 points almost. So even if they had lost more points in that short, they still would have taken this. Yeah. So I think that it's a definitive gold medal here. And if you have been listening to the show for a while, you know that we love this team. I think everybody kind of loves this team. They have as I think you referred to them earlier as the people's champion. And I love that because there is just such a warmth to them. And it's also the story of Ryuichi gets me every time. For one thing, he could not hold it together.
It was a very, very emotional day for Ryuichi. Yeah.
Gosh, he would be sobbing and then he'd get it together and then he'd start sobbing again. And it was just, it was so sweet. And there's just always been something about them and the fight that he has had to put in with, this is his third partner. Mm-hmm. He's been to the Olympics before and not even made the free skate. And I love them and I'm so elated for them.
An incredible journey for him, for this team, for their coaching staff with them. I remember really noticing for the first time in the last Olympics.
And
being taken by them and going, I don't know a lot about this team, but they were the ones that really stuck with me afterwards. Mm-hmm. And then seeing this ascent over the last 4 years has been so striking. They're consistently the team that I most enjoy. Having seen them in person, I know we've talked about this before, but we saw them at Skate America last year or 2024. They were just blindingly fast. It was such a difference watching them on the ice. We also know that during one of the seasons, they spent some time at IAM with the ice dancers, which it was so funny because they said that they went into those training thinking they were pretty good at what they did. And then they trained with ice dancers and they're like, oh no, all of us pair skaters are terrible compared to what they can do on the ice.
In terms of just the skating part.
The skating skills, skating skills. Yeah. I mean, that's what they meant. It's just that they trained with them and they're like, oh my gosh, their skating skills are just on another level than what we're doing. But you saw it elevate what they do. And they have just been so good at combining the athletics and the artistry and really painting a picture on the ice. And I'm just over the moon. I'm just thrilled.
But I say all of that while also wanting to acknowledge the awesome performances by both the silver medalists and the bronze medalists here. Silver medal, Anastasia Metelkina and Luka Berulava from Georgia, getting Georgia's first Winter Olympic medal, which is incredible.
Huge, absolutely huge.
And unlike some silver, sometimes whenever somebody loses the gold, even though they were ahead in the short program, you could see the disappointment. I saw none. Zero disappointment.
They were thrilled.
Yes.
If there was any sense that they felt like they had lost something by taking that silver, you never saw it.
No,
they were just so happy.
I've been watching Luka Berulava for many years now. I've never seen that man that giddy.
Yeah. Yes.
He's picking up Riku.
Yeah.
It was quite adorable. And it's also worth noting this was Japan's first pairs medal as well. And it was a gold, which is, I'm just elated.
It was a big day
so
for both those countries, both those teams. Metelkina and Berulava, we've been talking the last couple of seasons that these two could, even though they've only been together for a few years, that they were very quickly making themselves a threat for the Olympic podium. I had them in I don't remember if you did, but I had them in my predictions.
Yeah, I did too.
And they've just been so solid and so relatively consistent. There's some problems here and there, with occasionally things kind of can fall apart later in a program. And Luca often scares us with his footwork in the lifts. Yeah. But their throws, their singles elements, their drama, the impact that they make on the ice has just improved all of the time. And you could just see that was a team that came out here and they threw everything they had into these programs.
Yes. And they're still a very young team. I think this promises to elevate them even more pretty quickly. And they will, I believe, get those skating skills improved. And Luca will need to work on his lifts and stuff. But if they keep improving at the rate that they have gone, they will be continuing to be a threat for the next gold medal. It's really impressive. And you could feel that they knew if they did what, even not perfect programs, but close, they were going to get a podium finish. Before they even knew they were getting silver, when they thought it still might be bronze, they looked elated. So they came here on a mission to get a medal, and they did it.
Yeah.
It was really, really cool.
And really, what held them back just a little bit was some uncharacteristic issues in their thrown triples.
Which is usually like the most solid.
Yes. Yeah. We've talked a lot on the show that Metelkina's running edge out of a thrown triple is
beautiful.
Just a wondrous thing. It's one of the most aesthetic things that they do. And they just had a little bit of troubles with those in both the short and the free. Other than, I think there was like one tiny little bobble on another element. Otherwise, the programs were really strong. I think it was like maybe their death spiral was a little weak or something. But it's nitpicking. Yeah,
it's nitpicking, and also like they don't have the skating skills of Miura Kihara and our bronze medalist Hase Volodin, but they have so much technical difficulty and their singles elements are so strong that I think it's a balance. They did what they needed to do, but I also want to take some time talking about what is their nickname?
Miniki?
Yeah. I was just going to say Minnie and Nikita.
Yeah, Germany's Minerva, Fabian Hase, and Nikita. We've always been saying Volodin or Volodin. They were on the broadcast. They were saying Volodin. Maybe that's correct. I need to look into that more. It's the first time I'd ever heard anybody say it that way.
Yes, but their short program was beyond perfection. It was so good. And they put themselves in the only position that could beat the Japanese team. Mm-hmm. But after they did that world record free skate, there was still a chance that Hase Volodin or Volodin could take it. Unfortunately, it was really the singles elements for Minnie that kind of took it away.
Yeah, there was kind of a step out or an under rotation in their combo, and then she popped their sows.
Yes.
Yeah, and so, it's like basically you saw her single out the triple sow cow, and you kind of were like, that was the gold gone, right there. It's crushing for somebody on the ice when they're aware in that moment that they've just given up the ground. That upper level is out of reach, and then they get real careful afterwards because they know that they need to hang on to the rest of the program with no errors or they're going to fall off that podium.
That's exactly what I saw in that free skate, is that they tightened up a little bit. They got everything else done, and by the last minute it looked phenomenal, but kind of in that in between from the mistake to that last minute, you felt the very careful throws and just a little bit more tentative, not as much ice covered. And I say that they were still phenomenal, but I think that's actually what brought them just a little bit below Metelkina and Berulava, because they only were behind them by about 2 points. So I was a little bummed that they didn't get the silver, I'll be honest. Nothing to take away from Metelkina and Berulava, but just Hase and Volodin are just such elegance on ice, and their short program was so perfect that I was a little sad, but at the same time I'm thrilled that they are on this podium.
I think that if they had kept the foot on the gas despite those mistakes and stayed energized through the end, I think the components would have carried them over. But based on those two back-to-back, I really could have gone either way.
Yes,
I wouldn't have been
so
mad
close.
Either way.
No.
I don't really have an argument against the Georgians being in second there. I think that they delivered a little bit more consistency than the Germans did. But in the end, I loved this podium. I loved their interactions with each other. I loved their congratulating of each other. There was so many sweet moments between all of them. The podium was hilarious.
It was so great.
The ceremony, if you guys watched the venue feed and got to actually see the medal ceremony, between the moment where the Germans go to step on the podium and they're told that they're not supposed to do it yet because at the Olympics they're holding it off until they get announced later rather than when they first come on, which is completely different from how it normally gets done.
Anywhere else ever.
And they go to get on and Minerva goes to step up and then one of the people on the side has to be like, no, don't step on it now. And Minerva, she makes the Minerva face.
I can't even do it. It's amazing.
Yeah, Minnie just drags her whole face back and does this thing, and it's so funny, and it just cracks Nikita up when she does it. And it's just such an entertaining moment. I knew about it ahead of time because we didn't see it in real time. We had to catch up on it later. I had seen a lot of this stuff like through Blue Sky because Figure Skating Blue Sky was beside itself after this was over.
We've had a lot of trauma in the past week at the Olympics.
It felt like a lot of people were real excited about this one. This was a good vibes podium.
Yes.
And just really, really kind of happy moment. It did feel like the saging of the ice. And seeing the camaraderie and sportsmanship and just the mutual excitement out of all of them. Ryuichi gets the gold medal put around his neck and he lifts it up and looks at it and he just breaks down.
Yes.
And Luca just reaches over and just
starts
is like
patting his shoulder.
Yeah,
like, it's all good, man.
Yeah. It's just, it was full of so many sweet moments. It was also seeing other teams like the Italians and
Conti and Machi. Yeah, they were just lovely.
Yeah, it was really cool. After the medal ceremony was over and they started to skate around on the ice, you could look up in the stands and Niccolo was up there in plain clothes cheering them on from the stands. Like that's so great. We talk about a lot that like this era of sportsmanship is just so important for this sport. But yeah, getting to see those moments where you have your competitor went right into the stands to cheer you on.
Yeah.
And we experienced some of that even when we were at the US Nationals, where like skaters who had like skated earlier in the day would then be sitting next to us to cheer on the guys that they were competing against who were like further into the evening, you know, and it was just really, really cool stuff to see, but it made me so happy here. But let's talk about the 4th place finish for the Hungarians.
Always the 4th place.
We call them the bridesmaid team because they're just always just off the podium.
But you know what? 4th place at the Olympics is pretty special. And they have come so far. They looked thrilled. They had a huge score, like for them, like a 2:15.26 is a wonderful score for them. They were 3rd in the free skate. They actually were slightly ahead of Hase Volodin, but the strength of their short program, Hase Volodin's, kept them in the bronze medal position. But I think that this season on a whole, especially culminating here for Pavlova and Sviatchenko, just proves the point that as a young team, they are absolutely going in the right direction, looking better and better all the time. They were the most consistent of all the teams. I'm just so impressed. Just so impressed.
Yeah, they put together 2 really, really nice programs.
They did.
And I think they might have been able to have overtaken the Germans if their free skate just didn't have a tendency to just fizzle out at the end. That's the thing the one thing that we've been seeing throughout the season, their programs have been very, very consistent, but there's something about the construction of their free skate that doesn't put the right elements in its last 30 seconds. And so it loses a little momentum and ends on a little bit of a womp womp moment. I'm not taking anything away from what they did here because they performed it so well and I was really, really happy for them and I'm really, really happy for the score that they put down. I just think that if that program was designed a little bit better, it could have set them up for a little bit better of a result.
It just loses a little bit of energy at the end is how I always feel. But also they are exhausted.
Yeah.
Which is fair.
Well, every pair's team is wiped at the end of it. But in any event, Maria and Alexei should be so proud of what they achieved here.
I really hope they get invited to the exhibition just because I feel like it would be a good testament to how well they did.
Although that team is notable for having some very ridiculous gala performances.
I agree with you.
So I would hope for something. I mean, I'm all for very silly galas, but for a couple of years they were doing like an Austin Powers program or something.
I forgot about that. And there was a really bad wig involved.
Yeah, and a bald cap and thing. It was
it was strange.
It was a choice. But in any event, thrilled for them. Thought they did
happy
great
for
here.
them.
Also really happy for a 5th place finish for China's Sui Wenjing and Han Song. we didn't know what it was going to look like for the previously reigning Olympic champions because they came into this with little preparation and a lot of injury, but they did show up.
They did. They showed up really, really well. This is the first time I felt like I was really watching their programs in a complete fashion, as opposed to what felt like you'd get bursts of amazing classic Sui and Han moments. But then in the beginning of the season, the lifts weren't going well. And then as soon as they got the lifts in a much better place, she got injured, so the jumps weren't going as well. So it was just this, you never got a complete program. And here I felt like I could finally see the vision of both of these programs in a real way. So that alone, I think, is incredible. Her ferocity to do all of this through that hip pain, I will never understand. She is a beast. I love her. I'm obsessed with her.
I'm always in awe of both of them.
Completely. And I always will be. And being fifth here off the podium doesn't take any little bit away from their icon status. They are still, Olympic gold medalists who came back so quickly to get fifth here. I am in awe of them, as always. They're wonderful.
While they never did return to the form they were at previously, it was that final throw triple in their free where it was like a textbook Sui and Han throw. And it is just goosebumps, just instantaneous, like, oh, that's the good stuff, even though there were imperfections and it wasn't like an ideal skate. They were so happy with it afterwards. Hearing them, I don't know what they're saying, but like hearing them chatting and goofing around in the kiss and cry, they seemed really happy. They seemed satisfied with what they had done. And I'm hoping that for them, it's worth the effort that it took to return to this.
Yeah.
Also, what's hilarious is that in the, I don't know if it was the Mix Zone or the Kiss and Cry or somewhere, they were doing an interview and it's in Chinese, but it had been like translated. I think like Ting Kui actually did it. Like I saw Rocker Skating talking about it as reported by Nice Capades. We're getting things through the telephone game, but apparently Sui had said that now she just wants to take her RV and then just drive around the country with her pet meerkat and serve people coffee.
I'm obsessed with this idea.
Yeah. Make it a Netflix series pronto.
Yes. I was messaging actually with the Nice Capades. Follow them on Instagram, subscribe to the email, all good.
Yeah.
They had said that, we need the documentary right now. And I'm like, yes, Netflix. And she's like, Olympic Channel. Yeah. Anybody. Just pick this up.
Yes. That sounds like the kind of cozy viewing I am all for. Absolutely give me her and her meerkat serving coffee from an RV.
I think it's a meerkat. I have to go back and look. Whatever it is her. It's an animal on the road serving coffee. That's all I need.
Done. Yeah. And then in finishing out in the top 6 here, not as great a performance as I know they were hoping for, but still a very good Olympics for the hometown Italian team of Sarah Conti and Nicola Macchi.
I'm sad that they're not on this podium, I'll admit, but also I love this podium, so I wish there were many more medals.
Right.
That said, while these were not the programs they probably wanted, knowing that Sarah Conti has been injured for several months and that they lost training time, to come back as strong as they did, to end up with a team bronze medal that they were critical in getting, like for that team. They did such an incredible job in the team event. I wonder if that took a little bit out of what they could deliver here.
Sure, yeah.
I don't know, but maybe.
There's been so much talk about like, does the placement of the team event and its closeness to other events, does it tire people out? I think a lot of people...
I have some big feelings about that one, but we'll talk about that at another time.
Right, but I think a lot of people talked about that with Riku and Ryu as far as like seeing them below that lift in the short program, or like, are they just too exhausted? We'll have putting all that effort and having those brilliant performances in team.
But then you see them in that free skate.
And they come out in the free skate and they're better than you've ever seen them before.
Yeah.
And so, it's hard to call, but whether or not that's what affected Conti and Macchi, or if it was the injury in her knee that has definitely been plaguing them this whole time and makes a lot of the singles and throw elements a little bit harder, they still just perform beautiful programs. Really, really exciting stuff. I love this team so much, and I think that they already have a bronze medal from team.
That's what gets me, is that they are going home which is like, 10 minutes away, they are going home with a medal. And that's amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy for them. Also, worth noting, my God, Sarah Conti's boyfriend, Tim Deek of Smart and Deek, the ice dance wonder team from
if
Spain.
You didn't know, that they've been dating for a while now.
Oh my gosh. His outfit that he wore to support her in the short program is a wonder to behold.
He's just in a red Matador outfit.
I mean, it was on theme. I mean, that's commitment right there.
He is in the stands in Matador, but like it's sort of short pants, but he's got the Olympic glasses on. He's in the audience doing like Olay. Like
he's there.
It's adorable, super funny. It's really extra. But there's also a great video of the two of them during the opening procession of countries or whatever. It's the
Parade of Nations.
Parade of Nations, right. That's what I was going for. They both walked in it and they find each other after everybody's kind of grouped up and you see them just run to each other and jump into each other's arms.
It's really cute.
It's super, super cute. So very adorable stuff. Longtime listeners will know I love international besties. And then you have international love. And like it's amazing. So everything about that was awesome. But yes, I'm very excited for Conti and Machi. I hope they keep going after this. I have no reason to think that they won't, but like I just really enjoy them. I know it didn't work quite as well as they would have liked, but still I think this has been a very good Olympics for them.
Yes. That rounds out like the top teams, but there were a lot of other fantastic performances here. I'm going to skip over the 7th place team real quick just because I want to note that in third going into the free skate was Canada's Leah Pereira and Trent Michaud, which was shocking. Like in the best possible way. Their short program was phenomenal.
Yes.
It was beautiful. Unfortunately, the free skate did not go as well as you would have hoped, but that still landed them in 8th place here, which I think is better than I actually was expecting. I'm so happy for them, and I hope that they can take that wave of how well they did in the short. To me, that shows their real potential of like how they can get onto podiums internationally, big podiums. And it's just putting all the pieces together. But this seems like a huge step forward from my perspective.
I think that this is a team that has just never been in that position before.
Yeah.
I don't think in any big international competition have they ever been that close to like a really significant medal.
Right.
And to be in third after the short at the Olympics is
insane. And
have the podium within distance, but they also, I don't think they have the technical threshold to kind of match up with the handful of top teams. So there was a lot of pressure for them to be absolutely flawless, and they just couldn't quite live up to that moment there. But I think that a top 10 finish would have been amazing for this team anyway. If like going into this, if we were talking about what do you want from them, it'd be like top 10 finish would be
amazing,
brilliant. Yeah. To have been third in the short with those teams is a real statement. So
it is.
Regardless of how it shook out for them in the free, I think they have a lot to be proud about. And I think that them essentially coming out here as the top Canadian team, there's circumstance around that, of course, but that's a big note for them. I mean, they won Canadian nationals. They just performed really well at the Olympics. This really sets them up nicely for going forward.
And do we want to talk about our other Canadian team before we, I'm skipping around a little bit.
Well, let's stick to the format just a little bit, just to hit a couple more beats. I think.
Okay.
I think that the 7th place finish of the Americans Emily Chan and Spencer Akira Howe is a surprise.
It's a great finish for them.
I mean, considering this is the team that they were here because other American teams just couldn't go. This isn't the team that would have been selected for this if it hadn't been for citizenship issues with some of our other performers. Now, they did lock it in with a really good free skate at U.S. Nationals.
They earned their spot for sure. It's just a matter of our national champions couldn't go.
Yeah. But in the end, they had some nice skates here.
And they really did.
And that free skate was really solid. I think they had a fall, in it. But other than that, it was really well put together. And for a team that often feels very disconnected on the ice, there was something a greater unison of what they were doing out there. And so by the end of that program, it really felt like it came together. And so I gotta think this team is probably sort of at the end of the run as far as I know, but I don't know that for certain.
I don't know that for sure.
This is just sort of a common conjecture, but if that is the end of the road, it's a great finish line.
Yeah.
And it's one of the better skates I've ever seen them do. So
I think that's the real takeaway, is that they've had such a rough few years after Spencer's injury that it's just been, one step forward, two steps back.
Yeah.
And that kind of felt like it was always happening for them. And for them to finally make the Olympic team and then come here and come out of the competition as the top American team, it's phenomenal. So I'm so happy for them.
Ellie Cam and Danny O'Shea end up falling into 9th after being 7th in the short. And they were really solid in the short program.
Fantastic short program.
Very, very nice program. In the free, they just had a bunch of falls. It just kind of came apart. It felt like that gold medal confidence that Ellie had that seemed to have shown up in the short just didn't kind of hold in the free. Still top 10, still a nice set of performances, and they're still going home with gold. So
exactly.
I don't think
nothing to complain about at all.
Again, for both the American teams, this is kind of the best we had hoped for them.
Completely. So, both in the top 10 is a phenomenal finish.
Yeah. I really do want to highlight, though, how much I loved the free skate from the other German team, Annika Hake and Robert Kunkel.
They were great. I loved both their performances, but especially their free skate had so much energy. Just
huge.
I think Meatloaf looks good on them.
It does, yeah. Well, this is a fairly rock and roll team.
They are.
We know
very
that
much.
And Meatloaf and I Will Do Anything from Love is like kind of sits in a weird place as far as being sort of like soft rock into rock. I don't even know what you would call it. It's from that particular era of the 90s where like the genre gets really blurry and you don't know where to place it. But it's got a lot of energy. It's got a lot of passion. And the last 40 seconds of that program, they just go nuts and they do all of their acrobatics and all that show skating stuff that they're really, really good at.
And they get the crowd lit.
Yes. The music really kicks up right there at the end and they threw it full throttle and I loved it. I really like the whole performance. I like this team a lot anyway.
I love Annika.
She is such a vibe.
Yes.
But I thought it was hilarious to learn that Robert is kind of a barista and that he had brought a cappuccino machine to the event. And I think they train in Italy. So I think that like not very far away from here anyway. So he probably didn't have to like lug it across country lines or anything, but he's just been making cappuccinos and lattes for all of his fellow competitors during the course of the competition, which I think is just
great.
Super hilarious. But yeah, the vibe of this team is great. Annika is so entertaining. And I know that they seem to have gotten a little lowballed on their score in the free and they weren't real happy about that. But I think they need just to hang on to like how great that performance was because it was such a wonderful moment.
Well, now I do really want to talk about Deanna Salato and Maxime Deschamps because they came in here at a distinct disadvantage with the unspecified injury that occurred for Deanna. And we didn't even know she was going to make it until a week ago. Finally, that came through that she was coming, which was such a relief. But unfortunately, you could kind of feel the lack of training days. The missed time was visible. Yeah. And unfortunately, that took its toll, especially in the short program.
You see the gas have gone out of the programs a little bit. Everything had gotten a little bit more tentative. Obviously, when you're injured, you're just trying to be a little bit more careful so you're not risking more. We know that before the free that she took a hard fall into the boards during the warm-up. So
and that fall in the short program was such a fluke fall.
Yeah, complete fluke. Yeah, I mean, they'd come out of a lift, they got too close to the boards and she lost her footing and went down. And that is a big contributor to why they didn't land inside the top 10. And you could, again, in the free skate, just feel a little bit more of that carefulness, taking your time, just trying to make sure that things don't come apart. And we've seen multiple teams come into this event with injuries and things that have been plaguing them. And whether it's the Italians or the Chinese team or Deanna and Max, and it's just not the way you want to enter the Olympics is
of course not
dealing with something. But they had, I think, the hardest road of it because they just didn't know if they were going to be here. In the end, the victory is that Deanna is an Olympian. She skated on Olympic ice twice, and they did pretty solid. They end up at 11th, even after everything they've gone through with this. I think that is just a victory. She got to wear Oscar de la Renta couture custom dresses on the ice. That is huge. She looked amazing. And, she and Max got to have the Olympic experience. And
yes.
I am hoping that, considering that the whole thing that led her to return to skating was that desire to make the Olympics, as a 42-year-old coming back from and overcoming everything that she has, she's an Olympian, and that is the achievement.
Yes. I was so grateful that they had a pretty solid free skate, even though it did look a bit tentative. I thought they did a really great job. And also to see the smile on her face at the end of that program and really look like she was taking it in. That's all I was hoping for. I was so worried after the short that it was just all going to be this bad memory. And I hope it isn't. Like, that free skate was lovely. I felt like the crowd was giving to her and to Max and like really showing their appreciation. And I felt like she could feel it and see it. So we love Tiana. We send so much support to her. And I'm so thrilled that she is now officially an Olympian. And also, not for nothing, will always be a world champion forever.
Yeah.
No one can take that away. Her story is incredible.
Yeah.
She is still an inspiration.
And I expect them to keep going. I just don't think they're going to be at Worlds. I think that she has been medically advised to not go to Worlds. Yeah, she had mentioned that afterwards. So it kind of sounds like she got a little bit of a generous push to be able to be allowed to
get
come
to
here
be
in
an
the first
Olympian.
Place.
Yeah.
So that mission has been accomplished. And I don't think Worlds is on the table, but that's about a month away, I think.
Yeah, so we'll see.
So we've got some time before that happens. But there's a number of other really nice performances, and then there's unfortunately some teams that we really like that didn't even make the free skate, and sometimes those are surprising. I think particularly the other Japanese team of Yuna Nagaoka and Sumitada Moriguchi not making the free was very, very surprising because that team is so strong.
I was going to say, whenever we were initially talking and I said there was one thing that really bummed me out, that's it. Yunasumi is my pick for the next superstars from Japan. Like, they are so, so good, and they have been so incredible this season. So to have such a sad outcome in the short program and not even make the free, it broke my heart so much. And I want them to come back at Worlds and just destroy.
Yeah.
I really hope that happens.
And it's sort of the same for like the Australian team of Anastasia Golubova and Hector Giotopoulos Moore. They had to fight for her citizenship and sit out a good chunk of the season. They went through a bunch of injuries. They barely got to train. We saw them at Four Continents, and they looked like they had been on the ice for the first time in months together there. And it just didn't come together here for them. And I don't think they or anybody else is particularly surprised based on just the circumstances.
And with them, I felt like they looked content just because they got to be Olympians.
Yeah.
And I think they appreciated that and knew going in that they did not have the technical content because of the lack of the ability to train it to make that free skate. So I didn't think they looked sad. I thought they looked very satisfied.
And both of those teams are very young teams.
Yes.
There's plenty of time for them to keep going, keep improving. And I think that they're going to be next quadrennial teams. So here they just got that first taste of Olympic ice. And hopefully now they've got the flavor of it and they're going to want it real bad again.
Yulia Chechanina and Michael Wozniak. I hope I said that close to correct.
Poland.
From Poland. They had such a wonderful set of performances, and they've had such a rough season. I was so delighted to see that.
Yes, the Polish team had to really struggle to get here. And this whole season, it struck me what good sports they've been despite having some pretty terrible performances where things have just fallen apart. I just remember one of the competitions outside of the Olympics where it was just a mess and she particularly had a really bad day and he was just hyping up the crowd for her afterwards, just trying to get them to lift her up. And it was just this really lovely moment. I really enjoy the energy of this team, even if they don't always perform well. And here I thought that they turned out some really nice performances. They also did nicely in the team event because, Poland, didn't make it past the short in the team event, but it was still just
they had a blast in that short program.
They had a good time when they did. And
that's great.
So I'm going to just kind of step ahead in here because I hadn't mentioned them yet because I was just going to say they're my gold in my heart team.
Oh, really?
For this. Yes. Aww. Yes. The Polish team of Czechnia and Wozniak are gold in my heart from this event because I was just so thrilled to see a team do the best that they could here and be so happy with their performances, with the reception from the audience, with their scores. The moment for them in the kiss and cry after the free, it was just so lovely. It made me so happy. And for me, a lot of the feelings of this event are kind of summed up in that moment of seeing two people who are not in the top 10, but they achieved what they needed for themselves and they got to do really, really nice performances on Olympic ice, and seeing that moment for them and their team made me really, really happy. And if I gave it to something else, it would just be the entire podium because I loved all of those interactions and everything with them afterwards.
I love that. I think I'm going to take your cue. And I'm going to give it, even though they did not make the free program, I'm going to give gold in my heart to Danilova and Siba, the team from the Netherlands, who only got to do the short program and had to fight so hard. Their own federation was going to hold them back, even though they had qualified for the Olympics. They were not going to allow them to go. They had to appeal it to get here.
Yeah, they had invented some bizarre number for them to hit that was not the actual ISUs. It was a whole thing.
It was a whole thing, but regardless, even though they didn't make the free skate, their short program was the best I have seen them all season. And they looked so happy and delighted by skating as well as they did. I'm just happy that they got to come here and skate as the first pairs team to ever skate and represent the Netherlands at the Olympics.
Yeah.
And similar to what you were talking about with the Polish team, to me, that's the Olympics. Mm-hmm. And as much as the medalists are absolutely incredible, and of course you love to watch it, you also love to see teams like this who had to fight so hard just to be here and to have their Olympic moment. So also, it was beautiful.
It's worth noting that Daria's best friend is Karina Akapova from Armenia, who is the team that landed in the 4th place here. Mm-hmm. So she and her best...
In the 4th place?
14th place.
Okay.
Sorry, 14th place here. Yes, the Armenians were quite a bit back, but seeing some of their videos of them meeting up in the Olympic Village and meeting up at the rings and just it's being so excited. It's those moments. It's those things where you're seeing these people share the village together, share the Olympic experience together, that thing that so very few people get to do. Yeah. And even if it doesn't all work out on the ice, even if you don't come home with some crazy hardware, you're getting an experience like nobody else gets to.
Exactly. Exactly. It's so cool. Well, now all we have left is the women's event.
Yeah. So if you haven't watched or listened to our women's preview that came out right before, that was the 100th episode we were talking about earlier. So
I'm really glad that that's what it was, because I was scared when we had been realizing that we were getting close to 100 that it would have landed on the men's wrap up. Gosh, and no,
that'd been rough. Yeah. No, I'm happy for the first episode of the next 100 episodes is this one where we get to
we're super happy.
Yeah, we're getting to celebrate just a really great competition and a lot of wonderful performances and a podium that we're just hyped about. And for the women's event, I'm
so scared.
I'm so excited. I'm so scared. I'm so tired. I'm so apprehensive.
That's such a Jessie moment from Saved by the Bell.
I mean,
I'm so excited.
Let's be honest. I probably have a lot of Jessie energy.
You do. I do not have any Slater in me.
No.
Sorry.
I was a big Saved by the Bell fan when I was a kid. Regardless, yes, the women's event is going to be a nail biter, but there's just so many combinations of a podium that I could be really, really happy with.
Yeah.
All I want is good skates. All I want is an event that looks more like this one, where inevitably there'll be some people who will underperform and some people who will overperform.
That's fine.
On the whole, I want it to be a bunch of performances that they're all proud of and that it shakes out however it shakes out, and that we don't have something like what happened with the men, and that instead we just get to see a day of really wonder, especially this is capping off all of the competition. So
oh my gosh.
A lot of pressure. They've been sitting around waiting for this for a long time.
You want to talk pressure? It's the commercial, the ad that we saw today that was narrated by Taylor Swift, talking about the Blade Angels by name, telling little snippets of stories of their lives. And I'm like, how surreal is that for the three of them?
I really wondered. I want to know if Amber, Isabeau, and Alyssa knew that was happening, or if they just opened up Instagram and heard Taylor Swift talking about them.
Yeah.
Also, Taylor Swift is a really good narrator. I was kind of like, yeah. I know she's really good at all the things, but like I just had never heard her just read before. And I was like, that's a skill, and she was good at it. Anyway, it was really cool. It's a really fun
cool
video
for them.
And it's a nice hype moment for them before they take the ice. So for all of you that are hearing this, probably a lot of you will hear it before the women's event starts. And so, you're getting a taste of this right before we go into the ultimate event here.
It's definitely, what's the word I'm looking for? The marquee.
The marquee event.
It is the marquee event.
This is the marquee event for it all. So it all comes down to this.
I'm trying to look forward as well and say we also have a lovely gala to look forward to, which Ilya Melanin will be performing in. And if you're paying attention to social media, he is still doing practices where he's doing different variations of quad axles now, where he's doing with his arms over the head, like in the Rappan movement. I'm real curious how this is going to go, but I'm really happy that he's doing it. Like, honestly, after everything that happened in the men's event, having seen him around the village with Junwon Cha and with Donovan Carrillo. And
seeing him and Donovan and Piper Gillis sitting together during the pairs event was
I'm really
really
happy
cool.
to see that. Yeah. And Vladimir Litvintsev, like, it's good. It's good vibes, and I'm happy to see it. And I've been feeling that from a lot of the folks that maybe didn't perform as well as they wanted to. Like, I saw a great video with two of the ice dancers. Like, I know it was Ye Kwan and... Oh my gosh.
It's the guy from Germany. I can't think of his name.
Oh my gosh, why am I struggling? It's midnight, guys. I'm trying.
Yeah.
But anyway, they were showing off their twizzles and that they can do them.
Yeah.
That they're ready for Worlds.
Because they both fell out of their twizzles, which washed them out of the free dance in the ice dance competition.
Van Rensburg, right?
Yes, Van Rensburg.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe I forgot it. I'm such a terrible
But they were doing
person.
the twizzles together.
Yes, it was so cute.
That's awesome. Yeah. And there's been so many just fun excursions. Again, just social media is terrible, but like it's a great era to have things like Instagram and TikTok to get to see so much of the Olympic Village experience and to see all these teams and all these people gathered together having fun. Like in the end, that might be what I enjoy the most about all of it, is just seeing them do this.
Yes. You and Isabel Levito. Who has been, I think, enjoying the Olympic Village more than any other human.
She, in the interviews with her, like, she seems so unconcerned with the actual skating. She's like, this is the best time of my... Isabeau is just like, what, freshly 18 or 19, I forget offhand.
But this is like her first, like, she's been there for a while now.
Yeah.
They've been there for like 2.5 weeks.
This is like living in the dorms, but without having to go to school.
Yeah.
So it's like living in the dorms at college for like when you first start college, but like with no responsibilities. They have lots of responsibilities to do, media and practice and try to get ready, but at the same time to just enjoy and soak up the experience with all these other people. Yeah, in Milan.
Yeah.
Where her grandma lives,
Yeah,
so
it's great.
Yeah, it's a good time all the way
I'm
around.
so happy for her.
Yeah. Well, I hope you enjoyed the pairs as much as we did. Tell us in the comments, like, your own experience with it. Did your favorite teams win? How did you feel about the podium? I hope that you loved it as much as we did, because it felt like it fed my soul. I needed it. I really needed it.
It
was a real pick me up. I was thrilled with it. Again, watch the women's preview if you haven't yet, and then we will check back in with you after the women's event is complete. So let's all hold hands and hope for the best.
Deep breaths.
Yeah. But until then, for Choreography, I'm Adrian Buskey.
And I'm Wendy Buskey.
And we will talk to you again very soon.
Ciao.
Ciao.